7, first pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, approval of minutes.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Pfaff, second by Mr. Bashinsky to approve the minutes. Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Zatorsky?
Yes.
Mr. Bashinsky?
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. Next, approval of claims.
Make a motion, we approve claims.
Second the motion.
Motion made by Mr. Bashinsky, second by Mr. Pfaff to approve the claims. Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Zatorsky?
Yes.
Mr. Bashinsky?
Yes.
Mr. Pfaff?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. Utilities, MCO report, we're all ears.
All right, we finally finished up, dealing with the kind of abandoned water main that was down, Main Street from Railroad to Poston Street. It turned out to be an interesting experience. There was, it seemed like every time we dug it, we found something that we had no idea we were gonna find. Today, the biggest thing today was when Adam we had AccuDig out, and they cost more money, but on these applications, we had fiber optic in the way and everything else, and there was a big phone vault buried right next to the water main. So anyway, when it was excavated, we were expecting to see some old main, and we found that there was new ductile iron water main and fittings, a new valve that nobody knew was there. We had found that it had been paved over, but then there was a section of the old cast iron water main. So we debated the issue. I talked to John over at McMahon. We decided instead of just capping it off, we put a valve right at the T so there won't be any, and we left it in place just in case for some reason we may need to open it up someday again. That section of water main won't be on for now. It's old cast iron. The tuberculation and the sediment is about this thick around it, but we're just really nervous about taking it out of service because we assume there's nothing connected to it or anything, but boy, we have found all sorts of things. We did find that the two services in the house down there were tied into that main. We did get that excavated. We borrowed Hebron's tapping machine, and we made the 2 new taps for that on the new 8-inch water main. We were going to relocate that hydrant down there. Right now, we're just going to wait and see and decide what to do. That was really a mess, too. The one good thing out of it is we did, I don't know if it's good or not, but there are 4 valves right in a row on the water main, right in line. I think we determined that 2 of them were 2 old existing valves, and I believe somewhere in time they installed 2 inserter valves because, and I'm just assuming, that they couldn't get the existing ones to operate. We worked them, and we got both of them to actually work. So actually, all 4 of those valves work now. But I think it was critical that we did this just because I think we can get most of the valves operating. It's just going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of physical effort to do it because, we may break a few of them along the way. I'll just warn you now. But Adam and I, we got on those cheater bars and we turned it down, we turned it up, we turned it down, and we might get a quarter of a turn extra in that. But then we let the hydrant run to let all the garbage blow out of the seat of the hydrant. But we ended up getting that. Getting those valves to actually work without leaking. So we left all those in place too, which is good because we get into the older part of town, we're going to have to start exercising valves. I don't think they're an off-size valve like we thought originally. I think they were a standard valve back in the late 20s when they probably were installed. We did find 2 basically brand new valves when we excavated that there was no record that they had been installed. So it's gonna be tough for the next, as we delve into we get the GIS done, we start looking at doing some valve exercising, and, I don't know how far we'll get this year, we'll get as far as we can get, but it's very interesting things that we found. And unfortunately, there weren't any plans on that section of water main, anywhere. So I know Tom would look for them, all over the place, and they just didn't exist. So we've taken pictures of stuff, we'll get it written up, we'll hand draw stuff, hopefully we can get it kind of on the GIS. We'll probably mark we'll mark the street where it is, and when Jordan comes in to do the valves, we'll get him to do sections of water main. So we'll see where that's at.
Do you think any of that old main down there is from when the old well was there? They had to keep that in when they were filling?
I think that's part of the reason why it was kept in. For some reason, that section between Poston and Railroad Street was put in after what went down to the wastewater plant. Why, I don't know, but when you see the valving arrangement, yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that's what it was. I'm assuming Bart kept it online because he probably had to. Then when they put the new water plant in, I don't know if we'll come back to it later, and later never happened. It's hard to figure out. It's unfortunate that you did have to put in. What doesn't make sense, and what really doesn't make sense, is two tapping valves were put in down there to extend the water main. But then the two inserter valves were installed also, and those inserter valves would have served would have been enough to have shut that section of main down without doing the tap. So without knowing what's going on, having anything written down, everything's just basically speculation on why it was done. It's tough. But I think we did find some really important information that we can use for it. Because what I found over the years is a lot of the stuff's patterns. Whoever the operator was or whoever was doing a lot of the work usually did things in pretty much a similar way of doing things. So we run into some of this, down the road, we might be able to, make better assumptions of what's happening, what's going on. So I don't think that everything's bad. It was incredible to see how much sediment tuberculation is on the old main. So we have a good idea what we're going to deal with here. So we took pictures of it, and again, I've still got the main, so it's interesting. The outside of the main looked really good. I mean, it wasn't corroded. That wasn't a problem. So that was good. The voltage regulator of their generator has been installed. The problem they ran into is that generator, you could adjust different voltages for different places. I don't know if there's any real reason to do that. If we have to if we do have to change voltages, we'd have to bring Everpar in, and they have to do a little bit of rewiring. Since we're not using it up the South Coast or moving it anywhere else, I don't see any. Really, that's pretty much set for the water plant now. So I don't think it's that big of a deal that we need to do that. GIS has been proceeding. It's going pretty well. Our goal is to be done by August 1st. So, and with the initial part, and then we'll have to go back and work for some more things that aren't on the prints from that. But that's our goal to do that. The high service pump has been overhauled. I'm hoping it's installed this week. Nothing out of the ordinary was found, so I think let's plan in 4 or 5 years on having the other one overhauled. I don't think we need to do it next year. It just didn't look like it was that bad a condition at all. So it doesn't run. They only run a couple hours a day. They're big pumps. They're good pumps. I saw the impeller when they took it, and there's very little wear on it. So I just think it doesn't look bad at all. The wastewater plant, the North Clarifier, I still haven't been able to get in there to do that and check it and check the and do have to do some adjustment on that, on the table bearing. We may need to get Superior Pump in to give us a hand with that. Raw sewage pumps, we're just letting them run the way they are right now. No big deal with that either at this time. The foaming problems with the wastewater treatment plant, they have subsided. The effluent looks very good. I think we may have found probably the level we want, the mixed liquor, the organisms in the plant. It seems to be running very well at where we have it now. The discharge piping at one of the pumps at the Nash Finch lift station, it was repaired. Superior is going to provide us for a quote for an extra pump for that. I think both those pumps are pretty old, and we probably ought to have one sitting on the shelf just in case it goes down. They're not. It should be a very expensive pump. They're a grinder pump. They're a higher head pump, but I think it would be wise for us to have one sitting there. One of the things that came in today, we've got a opportunity to test a pilot sludge press system at the wastewater plant. Everything's free except whatever we brought a dumpster in case we need it. I don't think we're going to need it, but there will be a cost on that. Everything else is basically free of charge. Adam hasn't had a chance to go through it with them. Tomorrow's the first day that they're going to be up and running. It's a pretty slick system. Once what they will do is they're going to use different polymers. They may even try the polymer we use with the bags, and then they're going to do a lot of different things. So then they can basically come up with basically a cost estimate on what it would cost and what percent solid sludge we would get out. The goal is to look at it if we had a plant expansion and we would generate more solids. That would what we would look at instead of continuing using the bags. It may make sense even, at the current level, it may make sense to consider it just on the savings we may have for the current sludge production. We don't know yet. I do know that right now, with the bag running as well as it can go, I think Adam can get about 15% solid sludge when it's running well. This thing can put out about 25% solid sludge. So you're eliminating, 30 to 40% of your weight going to landfill that you're paying for, which is just water, and then you're not paying for the bags. So, we'll look at it. It's a pretty interesting technology. So I think it was fortunate we could get them in here and just run through it. We could see what it can do and what the cost savings are, because the sludge disposal, the sludge processing, you're probably as efficient as you can with a low tech type of operation that's there, but I think it makes sense to look and see if there's not something else available that we can save some money and probably even make it a little bit easier on pressing and on disposing of it. So, haven't done anything with the Westville Estates lift station. We did find out today that the controller we have to replace the controller. We got multiple alarms. John was here anyway from Superior Pump to hook up that sludge machine, so he went there and looked at it. He said the controller's shot. It's not a big deal. We can reuse it if we need to on the Nash Finch lift station or whatever. So we really didn't have much of a choice. And we may reuse those controls out there when we upgrade it. So the Omni-Site unit at the water plant, we upgraded it. It had just a minor radio upgrade that was requiring because of the 4G, going to the 5G network for Omni-Site. Other than that, that's all I have. I talked to Tom about a tapping machine. There isn't one in town. I think in my opinion, I think it makes sense that we have one. It's identical to the one that we borrowed from Hebron to do those two taps down there. And we're trying to kind of get things with a lot of the neighboring towns, similar things, so if something breaks, we can borrow, and we can, you know, everybody's kind of on the same page. And, I think we got a price of what, $22, almost $2,300. So I think enough to exceed $2,300. And that will do taps up to 2 inches too.
3/4 to 2 inches.
Yeah. So,
I'd like to make a motion that we approve, $2,300, or not to exceed $2,300 for a tapping machine for the water department.
I'll second that. Motion made by Mr. Bath, second by Albert, to spend an amount not to exceed $2,300 for a tapping machine from 3/4 inch to 2 inch. Any discussion or questions? Out of,
Miscellaneous supplies.
Pardon?
What do you want to take that out of? Miscellaneous supplies, is it?
what's my choices?
Oh, yeah.
It could be equipment.
Machinery and equipment?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
meeting taken out of machinery and equipment. Any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Leforsky? Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Pat?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0.
So the paving can commence too.
Yes. Thank you, Nathan. What you guys been working on? Right now, we've contacted Reed and Riley, and they're finishing up some work in the fort, and then, Lochner wants to have a meeting with them before they get started down on Darren's Inn, so we can see how the parking lot's gonna be for the park, and should get going in a couple of weeks.
Which, and Weston
Appreciate it.
actually,
Thank
and Weston's did a really good job helping too, I think. They absolutely, they did
Thank you.
really. Adam worked with them all today, all the time, so.
And Bubba and Jamie Lee both put the sleeve in underneath Sensor Drive for the gas and,
And what happened?
yeah, it looks great, so that's all ready to go then. Anything else on the streets, sir? Jamie?
That was really about all I had. We finished up the sidewalk project that Levo did, so, John won't be flooded there, yeah. He had a big problem with the water.
Thank you, guys, both of you. Thank you. Parks,
You good?
Popo,
On, go ahead.
your time's up.
I stole all your time.
For June, we had 399 total calls for service, 8 crash reports, 75 traffic stops, and 19 assist other agency calls. And the only other thing I have is Randy amended the grass and vegetation ordinance. I'll let him take it from there.
At last month's meeting, the marshal brought up, and the council requested that we make some modifications to ordinance 2002-4. You have in front of you really amendments to 2 sections, and basically what it does is, with regard to notice, it changes it from sending certified mail return receipt requested to first class mail with a copy conspicuously posted at the property, giving the property owner 7 days to correct the violation. Then I added a part to section 5.1 pursuant to the statute that allows, if you go in and do an abatement, as you go in and mow or remove the weeds, you can post a continuous abatement notice saying that going forward for the rest of the year, if this occurs again, we're going to come in and abate it, and then you don't have to send another notice. So that each time you go in constitutes a separate violation. So those are the 2 changes that were made at your request to the ordinance.
Any questions?
Well, hopefully that will get the job done and I'll mow it, because I know there's only Bubba and Ken, and when we have to go in and mow people's lawns that they don't want to take care of, that's more time and wear and tear, and we usually end up getting nothing for it, you know, so. This will work good, Darren can be a little more free, hopefully, to take care of it.
Okay, we have ordinance 2019-3, and ordinance amending ordinance 20,002-4, and ordinance establishing the obligation of all property owners in the town of Westville to cut or remove weeds after other rank vegetation growing on their properties provided under Indiana Code 36.7.10.1. I will make a motion that we approve ordinance 2019-3 on the first reading.
Second.
Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mrs. Riddell to approve ordinance 2019-3 on the first reading. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Leforsky?
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski?
Yes.
Mr. Pat?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. I'd like to make a motion that we suspend the rules and adopt ordinance 2019-3.
Second.
Motion made by Albert, second by Mr. Krasinski, to suspend the rules and adopt ordinance 2019-3. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Forsky? Mr. Krasinski?
Yes.
Mr. Pratt?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. Anything else, sir?
Sir, no, sir.
Finance, we have amended salary ordinance 2019-2. Refresh my memory on, is this the,
Taking the part-time clerk salary out of water
oh, okay,
and addition to the water
okay. This is ordinance 2019-2, an ordinance of the town council of the town of Westville, LaPorte County, Indiana, amending ordinance 2018-5 entitled salary ordinance for the year 2019. I'll make a motion that we approve ordinance 2019-2, that we approve ordinance 2019-2 on the first reading. Motion made by Albert, second by Mrs. Riddell. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Forsky?
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski?
Yes.
Mr. Pratt?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. And I'd like to make a motion that we suspend the rules and adopt ordinance 2019-2. Motion made by Albert, seconded by Mrs. Riddell to suspend the rules and adopt ordinance 2019-2. Is there any discussion? Mrs. Riddell?
Yes.
Mrs. Forsky?
Yes.
Mr. Krasinski? Yes. Mr. Pratt?
Yes.
Albert votes yes, passes 5-0. Anything else under finance? Anything on miscellaneous?
I'm just gonna remind you guys about the August 5th budget meeting, budget workshop at 5:30.
Citizens' comments? Anything else to come for the council? Being none, I'll make a motion that we adjourn. Second. Motion made by Albert, second by Mr. Krasinski to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed being none, meeting adjourns at 7:22.
No, no.